time about how I stole my best friend's boyfriend. So a little background information, I was 14 and in 8th grade. And we're gonna call my best friend Ashley. Ashley was really nice at first, she always had my back when I needed her, but then out of nowhere she started being super rude to me. She turned into one of those pick-me girls that would always make fun of you in front of other guys, talk crap about you to the guy that you liked. Well, the one day I hear her talking shit about me whenever we were in class, and everybody could hear her. She was literally on the whole other side of the class. And I asked her, hey, like, why were you talking about me? She was like, no, I was talking about a different girl. And I had a pretty unique name, so I was like, who else in the school could you have been talking about? But I just brushed it off. Well, then we were in algebra class and I heard her talking shit about me again. How I do my makeup so bad and I can never get a boyfriend, like I'm so ugly and all that stuff. Well, she thought that I wasn't mad at her, so she came up to me the one day and was like, OMG, I have a boyfriend. She's like, he's so cute, he's really popular, he's on the football team. And I was like, girl, whatever, nobody cares. Until I'm sitting in my first class of the day and I remember that she made out with my boyfriend last year. I forgave her, of course. But because karma was taking a little bit too long, I figured I had to do something about it myself. So my plan was to hook up with her boyfriend. Do I feel bad about it? Absolutely not. So I went to my school's football game, and guess who I saw? My best friend's boyfriend. She couldn't make it that night, she had something to do, so I had him all to myself. So I went up to him, I started flirting with him, and I was like, oh, you should break up with your girlfriend and date me instead. And I also said that she was a bitch and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he was like, why would you say that about your best friend? And he was like, I would never date you. And I had a feeling this would happen. So I had photoshopped a picture of her and this guy that she sits next to in her lab class. And I showed it to him and I was like, see, she's cheating on you. So he was pissed off. He gave me his number. And the next day he came over to my house. We cuddled, watched movies, we kissed. After 3 months, Ashley found out. We hadn't talked to each other since then, but now I am 16 in 10th grade and still with her ex-boyfriend. Funny thing though, the picture that I photoshopped with her and that guy, she's literally dating him now. So you're welcome, I guess. But anyway, she still goes around talking shit on me. I mean, who can blame her? I did steal.
I, 30 female, just learned my husband, 31 male, has feelings for my sister-in-law, 29 female, and hates my brother, 32 male. Hi Reddit, sorry if this ends up being a cluster F. I really need some advice. Some background. I've been married to Jack for 4 years and we've been together since high school. Our marriage is pretty great. We have our ups and downs, but we're usually able to work through it and talk about our feelings like adults. We were just starting to discuss having children before this came up. Now things are a mess and I don't know what to do. Charlie, my brother, and Kate, my sister-in-law, have been married for 5 years and have also been together since high school. My brother and I have been extremely close since we were kids. He's always there for me and I love him with all my heart. Kate is a wonderful person and is one of my best friends. She's my family now too and I love her to death. She's sweet, funny, and a great friend. Charlie and Kate have a great marriage. Honestly, even better than my own. They're a real team. They're always there for each other and you can tell that they really love each other. From what I know, they're currently trying to conceive. I'm so excited to be an aunt. We've all gotten along until now. This is the first time anything like this has happened. About 2 weeks ago, Charlie invited us over to have a few drinks and hang out at their place to celebrate Kate's birthday. It was going okay at first. We talked about having kids and our jobs and generally caught up. Jack ended up drinking way too much. He started flirting with Kate and she was obviously uncomfortable. She told Jack to stop it multiple times and tried to stay away from him. Charlie started getting irritated. Rightly so, Jack was flirting with his wife and being a drunken idiot. And told Jack to stop, again multiple times. I also tried to get Jack to knock it off and shut up, but he wouldn't and I was honestly pissed off too. Jack got pissed when Charlie tried to intervene. He told Charlie how much he hated him and wished he was dead. Then went off to confess how much he loves Kate and wishes he would have ended up with her. Jack decided to try to kiss and touch Kate, and she freaked out and Charlie was done. He told us both to get the F out. I dragged Jack out of there and I was just shocked and disgusted at his behavior. The next day, Jack told me that he did have feelings for Kate and was resentful of Charlie because of it. He told me that he loved me and would never cheat on me. He was drunk and what he did was a mistake. He apologized over and over again for his behavior, promised me he loved me and wanted to be with me, etc. He apologized to Charlie and Kate for what happened, but they aren't happy. I'm still not sure how to feel. His behavior was awful, inappropriate, and borderline assault. It also makes me feel crappy that he hates my brother. I talked to Charlie the other day and he told me that he isn't comfortable having Jack around anymore, especially around Kate. Apparently, she's pretty shaken up by what happened. The unwanted touching, attempted kiss, and love confession, and incredibly uncomfortable around Jack. I understand completely, but now I'm stuck. I'm just angry, upset, and unsure of what to do now. I don't want my relationship with my brother and sister-in-law to be ruined because Jack was an a-hole. I don't know what to do about Jack's confession. It honestly makes me feel sick to my stomach. It all came out of nowhere. Everything was great before this. We were all friends. Now, my husband apparently loves another woman and wishes my brother was dead. I want to salvage this because I do love Jack. I really do. But I have no idea where to start. I want to be a part of my future niece's or nephew's life. I want to be able to be around my brother and sister-in-law because they are wonderful people and I love them so much. It's all crushing down and I don't know how to handle it. Is there a way to work through this? What should I do? Can I salvage this? Perspective or advice or opinions?
Am I the a-hole for getting my sister a car for Christmas? I come from a culture where arranged marriages are normal. And out of my 4 sisters, 39, 36, 32, and me, myself and my oldest sister married our boyfriends and we were cut off by our parents. Mostly because our husbands weren't rich enough to their standards. My oldest sister, Charlie, was our parents' least favorite, and I wasn't particularly close to her because of our 10-year age difference. After I eloped with my husband when I was 24 and got cut off, things got tight financially for us. We both lost our jobs and could barely afford rent. My in-laws had teenagers to take care of, but they helped us here and there. My parents wouldn't talk to me, and my 2 sisters who married doctors told me I should have let our parents get me a rich husband like they did them, because love don't pay bills, and they stopped picking my calls. Well, I don't blame them. That really hurt. When we were evicted from our apartment, I called Charlie, and her brother-in-law took us in. She advised me to go back on birth control till we were stable and helped me apply for jobs. While they weren't rich, they let us stay with them for a month and they rented us an apartment and paid a year's worth of rent for us. And then found out they used the money they'd been saving for a romantic getaway on us, and they told us not to pay back. Then my brother-in-law got his friends to invest in my husband's business, while I was able to get a better job. All of this was over 4 years ago. And for this Christmas, we bought Charlie a new luxury car, and my brother-in-law an all-expense-paid trip for their romantic getaway they canceled because of us. Brother-in-law keeps rejecting our gifts, but we knew he wouldn't say no to this. Then brother-in-law made a TikTok that went mini viral, and now I have family I haven't heard from in 5 years calling us and sending me messages on social media, calling us stingy for being rich and not sharing. We feel a bit guilty, but me more. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not inviting my husband's son to Christmas? My husband, 64, has 2 kids, a daughter 35 and son 31. His daughter lives in a different country but is low contact with us, so we have very little to do with her. Their real mother died when they were both in their teens. His son lives only 15 minutes away, and we see him from time to time. He is not a bad guy, just very different to my husband and I. I also have a son of my own, 41. He is a very successful stockbroker, while my husband's son is a moderately successful photographer. My son is married with 3 kids, while my husband's son is still single. This usually causes problems over Christmas, as I like to spend it with my son and his family, and I expect my husband to join. We invited his son along 4 years ago, and even though he did try to fit in, it just wasn't a good fit. He thought it appropriate to show up in jeans and a t-shirt. I was so embarrassed I could hardly look anyone in the eyes. Ever since that year, we decided not to invite him again. This never seemed to be an issue until this year. We showed up at his home early morning. We had plans to go over to my son's house at around 11, so we didn't really have time. So we just dropped off a gift for him and left. He bought nothing for us. Later that day, my husband texted him to ask if he had enjoyed the rest of Christmas. To which he replied, "Oh right, that's what today was. Thanks for the chocolate and 3-minute visit." My husband was very upset by this, but I was outraged. I wanted to contact him and put him in his place, but my husband took my phone away and told me to let it go. It's been 2 days now. Him and my husband are talking again. and both seem to have just moved past it. But I'm still mad. It's not my fault that he is less successful than my family and just can't fit in with us. So, am I the idiot for not inviting my husband's son to Christmas? I think it might slightly be because my husband wasn't super rich until he married me. So his son was raised in a lower class environment, which obviously can't help. But at the same time, it's definitely not my fault either. I feel very conflicted. Just thought I would add this because it keeps coming up. No, I did not tell him about the dress code, but he spent enough time with me and his father that he should have known better. The jeans were also ill-fitting and did not look neat at all. Also, that Christmas didn't take place at my house but at my son's. And he was also quite embarrassed. One, because this wasn't setting a good example to his young children. And two, he had other guests over as well. And this did not make a favorable impression on them.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.